Hey, this is Steven from the LegitTechTutorials, and welcome back to How to Program. So I do now have a little drawing tablet. I'm just using a standard tablet and recording through HDMI and as well as my audio. So I could do a little bit of visual stimulation, I guess you'd say. I'm using a Tegra Note 7, so that's why you see the Tegra Draw image up there on the top left. Alright, so what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about the parts of a program. Now, of course, I'm going to forewarn you, my handwriting is a little bit better than my handwriting with a mouse, but it's still pretty bad. So, I'm going to go ahead and start, I'll illustrate as well as we're going. So, there are a couple parts to a program. The number one part is that you have a file. And the file sits inside of a project. And then inside these files, this is where you have the code. And inside the project is where you have the files. So this guy goes to file, and file has the code inside. So you could have multiple files, right? Multiple files inside that work together, and like we described, that is called software, right? That's called software. You have multiple files that are working together inside of a project, and these files have code inside that allow you to use the software. So, next part is what is the parts of the file. So a part of a file. So the file has basically two parts. It has a main. Whoa. It has a main, and then it has this stuff above the main and this stuff below the main. And a main has a different term. It's not always called main, because in a game engine, it'll call it like start, this, that. It doesn't really matter. It's all technically the main. So the top here is where you define the file. And then here is where you run the file. So this is technically inside the main. And there's the brackets that you usually see. So when you're inside the main, you're running the file, and when you're up top of the main, you are defining the file. And you'll have code up top and code down at the bottom. Now these guys all make part of a file. So most of the time, what you only have is you'll only have one main in all of these files. Only one guy is going to have a main in it, and it's going to run the code from this guy, and this guy here. So how you could think about it is that you're basically telling just like when you give somebody instructions, you give them the instructions, then you tell them to do it, right? Because you can't do it the other way around, tell them to do it, then give them the instructions. It doesn't work that way. You have to fully explain inside the beginning of this file what you're going to do before you can jump inside the main. And now a main's actually a method or a function, which we will go over later. But these are the basic things that are parts of a program. You have your main project, or I guess you could say your workspace or your software, whatever you want to call it. So I guess this guy and this guy can be flipped back and forth, but most of the time in most IDEs, like we went over in a previous tutorial, it's called a project. And then inside the projects you have files, which are sometimes called some different things like classes or this and that. For Java it's classes, and of course, what you could tell is that they have an extension, right? So like JS is JavaScript, CS is C#, CP is C++, and then C++, and then you have standard C, and then .java is a Java file. Now, so these guys are example of a file extension that you would see. And then those guys are in the project, and each file has its corresponding code that goes with the extension. So it could be JavaScript, Java, C#, C++, C, Boo, Python, whatever you want. Now, that's basically it. So this is how the files are made. They're basically just the three parts. There's a file that goes inside of a project, and there is code inside the file. Code. So code, file, project, software. That's what you got. That's the tree right there. So it's going from left to right. So first, of course, you're going to have the project, then you're going to have the file, then you're going to write the code inside the file. And that is it. Alright, so this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials. I thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more videos like it in this series and other series like it. And if you have any questions, email me. And that is it. I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Have a nice day.